welcome back to the second episode of Path here with my name's David alongside
Ben.
just
me.
just Ben.
That's me.
No last name, no middle name. He's just Ben.
That
He's
is
like
me.
McLovin from the Superbad movie.
All right, we're done with that.
Today we're going to be talking about our journey in the entrepreneurship game. So what we've had, three?
We've had 3 business ventures together. So as you guys probably already know by now, financial freedom is one of the pillars that we teach at Path. So we're gonna just talk about our entrepreneurial journeys together. It started in our senior year of college, where we started an Amazon fulfillment business. It was a good way to passively make money while we're doing our studies and going out and stuff like that. So I guess you can probably take it from here. How we found out about it.
How did we? Oh, so one of our buddies, who we won't name, we'll just call him Clark. I think he was working over the past summer into it, and so we were like, oh, that sounds pretty interesting, and we kind of looked into the resale model, and it seemed pretty profitable. So we kind of went through that, and we went to this place. What was it called? Cargo Largo. Yeah. It was down in downtown KC in the depths, and we went and bought our first pallet. I think it was a bunch of
office supplies.
Yeah, office supplies pens. It was the perfect one to start off on. Honestly, we made.
It was, yeah. Clark went along with us.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys got to pick this pallet.
Yeah.
So not knowing anything about it, we're like, yeah, let's just do it. So we did, and it turned out to be extremely profitable. So that kind of just propelled us to stay in that business and reinvest for more pallets of goods. So we bid on that I think we went every Saturday.
I think it was every Thursday, right?
Every Thursday, yeah, because we
didn't
didn't
pick
have
up
class
on
Friday.
Yeah.
So yeah, we made time for it. We made the drive all the way from Manhattan, Kansas to downtown KC. It's about 2 hours.
Yeah, it was a bit of a drive.
So every week we'd do that. We'd bid, and then we'd upload the products onto Amazon.
eBay first. We did eBay first,
that's
and then
right.
we found on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hauling it all the way back, that was a problem.
Yeah, that was not a good idea.
We should have rented a U-Haul instead of cramming it in both of our small cars, making 2 trips.
Yeah, it was
a lot. That's what you have to do when you're first starting out.
Yeah.
Every entrepreneur goes through it.
Yeah.
So a little bit later, about 2 months, we kept the same system. I feel like we started getting burned out from that though. Maybe 4 or 5 months into it. It was a lot. It was monotonous.
Because I feel when we started out, first we started on eBay, and then we started reselling that stuff, and then we moved on to Amazon. But at the same time, we did fulfillment by merchant. So we would have to go to the post office pretty much every day and just send packets and packets and packets of stuff. And it's kind of exhilarating in the moment because you think, oh, I'm making this much money on this one, and then you start doing the money or the math in your head, and you're like, well, if I just scale this by 10, then oh my gosh, you can make 10,000 a month.
Way easier said than done.
Yeah, and then but then as the months go by, you keep implementing a better and better system, and you keep improving it, and which we did. I mean, we shifted to FBA, which is fulfillment by Amazon. So then we kind of learned to leverage other people's time, and for a smaller profit margin, of course. But then we wouldn't have to go to the post office every day.
Drop them off.
Yeah, and so it's just one of those lessons. I feel like the first 2, maybe 3 ventures are where I'm still learning, and we're still learning today, but those where you're kind of learning the fundamentals about how a business starts.
Yeah,
and it's like any skill, right? It's like you have to learn how to ride a bike, you have to learn how to walk.
Yeah, you got to learn your business first, and then you start the systems.
Yeah.
And figure out what works. So a little bit later down the line, probably 9 months in, we hired a VA. His name is Brian out of the Philippines, and he was just sourcing products for us to buy while we slept, since it's the 12-hour difference, 12-hour difference. So we'd wake up, we'd have a whole list of stuff to buy. So it was great. But then it wasn't great. So we started losing a little bit of money. So we kind of just canceled that side of our business because we didn't really have a passion for it, as you probably remember. We were just so focused on making money that we did it in any way possible. And we quickly realized that's not how it works. You need to enjoy what you do. The money's not going to be the sole driver of that, because we got burned out because we were just focused on the money.
Yeah. And I think to kind of add on to that, like the whole goal of doing entrepreneurship in some degree, obviously there's going to be rough patches, but the whole goal of it is to get away from a 9-to-5 job that you don't like. And so if we're going to go to an entrepreneur job that we don't like, it seemed like you're just
go back
robbing
to
Peter to pay Paul, right? It's like, it's just, yeah, it just didn't make any sense. And so that's kind of when we took a step back from the whole resale game, and we were like, okay, what do we want to do now?
So since we both enjoyed health and wellness, and we kind of built off of that, like let's go into mental health too. So that's where the emotional intelligence branch came into. And then we're going to teach people about entrepreneurship. So that's where the financial freedom branch came into. And then Path was born from that. So we kind of just see our first Amazon business as like a capital builder to fund what we really want to do, which is Path.
Yeah. And it was an evolution, right? Like we didn't know that we wanted to do Path when we started the Amazon.
Yeah, no,
we had no idea, but it's like you live and you learn. You live, you figure out what you don't want to do, and then you're like, okay, what do I actually want to do? And then you keep course correcting. And I think Path's the accumulation of 2 years of just getting angry that we weren't making enough money when we realized that it wasn't necessarily about the money, it was about the pursuit.
Right.
What you actually want to go for.
Absolutely.
And then I think it's as we start like becoming more mature, we start thinking more long term, right? Like yeah, you can have a business that makes 10K a month now. That sounds fantastic. That's what everyone's advertising. But at the end of the day, you want something that has some sort of longevity to it, which is what we decided when we went through the 3 pillars of Path, right? We're like, okay, we know that our entire lives are built around money, so we need to have some sort of awareness on finance. 2, like people these days are so distracted by their devices that they don't really take a time to sit back and really integrate and then analyze and then reintegrate how they feel and how they can help other people. And so that's why we did the emotional intelligence. And then obviously being some meatheads from the gym universe, we were like, okay, we got to incorporate health into some regard.
Right.
But
yeah.
That's also the longevity portion. Right?
So what good is wealth if you can't enjoy it?
Yeah.
Because your health is suffering. So health as well. So we figured that out, and we want to help people kind of pursue all those aspects of life because we believe that's the way to have a very fulfilling life: being healthy, being emotionally aware, and also being financially free. Do what you want when you want. So this is what we're both passionate about. So we're really excited about Path, and we have a lot of lessons from our past business too.
We still have more to learn.
We do. We don't know.
God knows we do.
Yeah. So that was BD Industries. That was our first one. Our second, we had a second business as well.
It was the drop shipping.
Drop shipping, yeah. That we got into drop shipping very late.
Pretty much as
it was dying down.
Yeah.
But we figured out the systems for it. We figured out the ads for it. But it just wasn't even close to the profitability that we had with Amazon. So we kind of killed that.
And I think that was like right at the start when we first started to realize that, hey, maybe it's not necessarily just about the money. It's about creating something bigger and creating something that's based in values and beliefs that you have internally.
Yeah.
Not just based in, okay, what is this guru teaching me on the internet how to make money, right?
Right.
And I think that's why that was probably about 3 or 4 months that we worked on that. And I think a great thing with the entrepreneurship thing is that it forces you to learn skills. It forces you to upskill, which I think is a good word that we should use, where you continue to learn skills and it connects to other skills that you have. So like Absolutely. For you, you're doing marketing right now, and you're getting into that vein. And these past, like drop shipping, the Path, and all these sorts of things are helping you learn these different areas that are cross-intersecting.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you should never want to stop learning new things. No. The only reason I'm so good at marketing and creating designs and digital marketing and stuff like that is because I learned it through Path, our social media. I kind of took the reins there, and I've honed in my skills. Yeah. And I'm better for it too. Because if I want to get another job, I have that experience that I taught myself basically. Yeah. So and that's always self-teach.
That's the greatest thing is learn by doing. I feel that the current public education system, they just teach you to memorize, how to memorize. And they say that memorization is the best thing ever. And they basically, to some degree they do, but they essentially just put on the back burner the entire idea of critical thinking and learning to go explore and find things that suit you. And I just think that's to everyone's detriment, especially here in the States when there's people just complaining about how bad the public health system or the public health, but the public education system is, right?
Yeah, I get where they're coming from. They want to give children at a young age to as many like ideas as possible. Like you should learn history, you should learn science, and then because they're growing up, they don't know what they want to do yet. But when you do grow up, I feel like there should be like just a college that if you want to go into business, you want to start your own business, there should be an entrepreneurship master's degree where you learn the basics. Then one of the tests is to start your own business, create your LLC, do your own marketing, and then assess how well you're doing in that niche, in that industry, and then that's how you pass. Instead of memorizing what social entrepreneurship is, what dropshipping is, you shouldn't memorize those definitions, but you should actually try to build something and get graded on how well it does in the industry.
Yeah, but that's just for like the entrepreneur. I think if you translate that to different areas, I think that could be amazing. Like from like a science perspective, I think having someone create their own research project in high school could be amazing. It's like it's giving them the personal autonomy to choose how they want this to go.
Yeah,
and I think that's essentially what happens right after college. Right after college is you start doing stuff and you start interacting with it from a physical perspective, and that's when you start realizing, hey, I don't actually like this, or maybe I really like this, but I want to do it this sort of way.
Right.
And if you can just expedite that by pushing that timeline further, I think that could be amazing. Yeah. I think that like especially with AI coming out, it's gonna change education.
Oh yeah, they have to.
Because
one of my siblings just graduated, and in the dean's speech, like, congratulations to all of you and ChatGPT, because literally all the kids, they used ChatGPT for all of their assignments. I mean, why wouldn't they, right? I mean, it's there. But yeah, I think we got to figure out a way to educate ourselves with AI, but not letting AI completely take over and just answer all the questions for us. I think we should try to, because then we lose the driver's seat at that point. We're not really learning. We're just reading off of the screen that artificial intelligence.
I think so. I think it's as everyone says, it's best used as a tool.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
when I use it to help me with finance, I use it to expedite all my analysis.
Yeah.
But if I use it for like when I was learning coding, I would just let it run all the coding, but I didn't understand it. And so that would be to my detriment, because then I'll be like, okay, I don't know if this looks good or bad.
Right.
And that's probably the same way with what you're talking about, where we need some sort of system to kind of teach these people the rudimentary and the framework, but teach them how to use AI, and not just because like I feel like they're just shunning it at this point. They're just trying to like go around it. Like all my tests that I had for my master's, they're like, no ChatGPT, no this and that. Whereas the ones that were open note and allow us to do chat were much more challenging, because they just acknowledge, hey, they're gonna use it. Why don't you create something that allows them to integrate it into their usage of it?
Interesting.
Right?
So what were the questions like then for those
they're
tests
much,
that was open? AI?
Well, the open-ended was the financial programming. So,
okay, so you kind of needed artificial intelligence with that one.
Yeah, to help write the code.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 hours. So, and they didn't really teach that much.
Okay.
It was a shortened duration class.
Yeah.
But and there were some other ones that were just, they left them open-ended, and I think those are much more beneficial. Or just your own analysis, I think.
Yeah.
Would be good. I hate the multiple choice. Multiple choice is so easy these days to cheat. Right? You just screenshot it. Yeah, you just
the whole time.
No, you can screenshot it, send it in the chat, and chat will answer it. And then you put it
really?
Yeah. I mean, come on. It's so easy.
When AI started like to becoming like a huge thing, I was already out of school. So
I know, that was
my tactic was just C.
Do we even have it, or?
I don't think we did.
No.
I think right when we graduated is when OpenAI started. 2023.
Maybe we should know about it. It was like such a.
It was in its stages of adolescence for sure, but now it's.
Yeah, you actually had to study for tests back.
Yeah, we did. We studied for econ for like 7 hours. That was.
Yeah, I
that was a
remember
tough class. You remember that class?
Which one, the 120 or the?
510
Oh,
or
yeah, that
whatever.
one. Okay, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah, well, I wasn't a finance pro, so I was a management and marketing guy. So
I remember you were so pissed after that test.
No, it was, it was
after that one.
No, because I didn't know what I was
doing.
doing.
We went to the Rickles and we grabbed
just a bottle.
Colt. I don't know. It's like they need to up the ante in terms of the education and like to incorporate it, or otherwise there's no struggle to actually know anything. Like if it's too easy, it's like that happy Goldilocks zone where it needs to be just hard enough to where you're actually learning, but not too hard to where you become discouraged.
Yeah. And
I think that paradigm's shifting with AI, and so people need to start like adjusting with it, and maybe that creates a whole new education system. Because now it's like with the internet, the advent of the internet, education is free flowing. You can access like stuff from MIT and Harvard on the internet, and people are complaining about public education, and I think it needs to change. But also to some degree, it's at the tip of your fingers. You can go and search on Google and go find courses about molecular engineering from Harvard or MIT, and like lectures from this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it could be, I think it's just an easier way to place the responsibility of change on some other people's hands. And that comes back to a principle of life, where if you give other people the responsibility to decide what happens in your life's not going to be good, or it's not going to be up to the par that you want it to. But if you take autonomy in your hands and you go out and use it how you want to use it, then life will be what you make it.
Yeah, no, definitely. So you went on tangents. I'm rewinding it back to
where we at?
Business and AI. So what parts of our business do you think artificial intelligence could help us? Obviously research.
Yeah, I'd say research for sure, because you can use like Claude or any of the large language models in order to run research. Like it's like Google has this new AI mode where it'll, instead of like you searching through all the websites, it'll just scan through all of them and give you an answer. So it's the same thing with the LLMs, where you could say, okay, I just did this morning. I asked for a research report on reversing myopia, which is basically making you be able to see farther without having corrective surgery. And it basically went and scoured the internet for 450 sources and just condensed it into a manageable thing, and gave me key insights about how I can create an actionable plan.
Interesting.
It just expedites everything. And then, especially with AI agents coming out, you can create workflows for onboarding, for sales, for outbound, marketing. It's getting pretty close. You see the VO3?
Yes.
It's like the new Google text to video.
Yeah, I did see that. That's crazy too.
Yeah. And not like it's gonna, I think it's just shifting the landscape of what's possible. I feel that today is probably the best time for entrepreneurs getting into it, because you have so many tools available to you that in the past would have taken hundreds of people.
Right, yeah. There could be maybe 2 AI agents and 1 owner of a business that could hit $10,000 a month.
I mean, you
just got to find that niche that wants that, right?
And that's my goal right now. I want to create like different AI agents for different facets of my life, and talk to them like Jarvis from the Iron Man. Actually, I didn't tell you this. I just created a conversational bot that can go search the internet and do all this sort of stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah. And you can just keep giving it tools, and then essentially you can have it act as a CEO, a CIO, a CMO, any of these C-suite level people, and you can give it context. You can have it scour the internet. You can basically do it anything.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah. And I think there's some reports that the first like sub 10 person team, so 10 employees, would be the next unicorn. It's like $1 billion valuation, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. I always see those ads too, like agent something. It's an AI company, and I never looked into it, but I assume that that's what they do. They create these AI agents specifically for a niche of a business, and then they drop it into their system. Like, this is what it does. This is its whole purpose, and they monetize it. This is $1,000 a month. You want to do more? It's $10,000 a month. And it's great because it's like another worker, but you don't have to pay the worker. It's just,
And that's the nice thing about code, is you just create it once and you can reuse it for anything else.
Yeah.
And
I am scared though, like when AI if it ever becomes sentient.
Elon Musk said it was going to happen this year or next year.
It should. I mean, it should become sentient pretty soon.
Sentient?
Sentient.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I'm always nice to ChatGPT, and everyone else does.
Thank
that
you,
too.
Please.
I always say please. I always say thank you. I'm nicer to AI than I am to people sometimes.
Actually, there is the CEO of Google said that sometimes you have to the AI model in order to get it actually acting right.
You have to discipline it. Be like,
give
me this.
Yeah, you fucking idiot!
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
No,
Actually,
because they treat it poorly. That's why. I've never had a problem with that. You know why? Because I say please.
No, but actually,
And thank you.
I had a buddy who in the financial programming final that we had, we were stressing out because like the second part, it was like multiple choice, and the second part was coding and like creating like a financial model to, I don't know, do some sort of back test. And I was tweaking out because I was being super nice to it. It wasn't working.
Yeah.
I got to a point. I'm like, okay, fuck this. I started.
We're on the clock here. You gotta do something.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell are you doing? Do you know you are failing me? Like, you're making me fail this exam. It's like, I'm so sorry. And then I just spelled something right. And my buddy told me in the back, because he was in the back of the room. He was just telling me he was cussing out. He's this French guy. He was cussing out this AI.
Did he fail it?
No, he aced it.
Oh well, that's
He
when it
was
comes to
disciplined.
that AI is gonna kill your.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's scary.
No, it is scary, dude.
But I mean, it's the same thing with like the Microsoft suite, and that's my perspective. It's like it's gonna happen, so we have to adapt to it, or else we're gonna be left behind. Like
Absolutely.
my parents, like they aren't that technologically.
They're more
verbose.
traditional that way.
Yeah. It's just a
and that's
different
fine.
generation.
They can't shake it.
But it's just like for our generation, we have to adapt with the times. It's like
Yeah.
we grew up in the weirdest period because the beginning of our childhood was like without phones. And then we were in middle school when the flip phones came out, or the sliders. Remember those?
I do.
And then by the end of middle school into high school, we had iPhones.
Did you ever have one of the slider phones?
Yeah, of course. It was my first phone. It
Oh,
was
really?
Bushy as shit.
That's pretty cool.
Amazing.
My first phone was in.
I felt like a king, bro.
What grade were you in?
I think I was in 7th grade, 6th grade.
Okay. Oh yeah, I got my first phone in 7th grade. I got the iPhone 5
Yeah.
when it first came out. That was like something no one's ever seen before.
It
My
was-
dad was like, "Oh my god, what did I just buy?
Yeah.
Did I just get scammed? Is this just a black box that just no?" But you open it up and it's like it's the internet just right in your hands.
Yeah.
It's something. Yeah, it was something special. And now you see the phones that come out. It's like full screen. It's you have
They have
smart
the
watches
flip and everything now. Yeah.
and how you sync all your data to a new phone or upload all your new data
Yeah,
or all your
yeah.
information.
You
You
I
just
remember
put
I
it
used
on
to be-
top. You put it
yeah.
on top of your phone and it goes.
I remember they didn't have the iCloud.
Oh
And
my
I think I
God, I
lost
remember
all
that.
my data probably about twice because
Dude.
I just never.
That was always my biggest fear. It never happened to me.
Really?
But
Yeah, I got gypped pretty
Wow.
hard on that one.
Dude,
It was my own fault too. I didn't back it up. It's like, oh, I'm fine. I'm never gonna break it.
you have
Just-
auto backup
I
now,
threw it,
probably,
yeah,
right?
I think
Yeah.
so. I think my iCloud storage is full, but I'm not giving them a dime.
Yeah,
Gotta
I
cut
think I have-
costs, man.
I have a terabyte, I think, and I don't think I'll ever hit a
My
terabyte.
God.
Yeah.
How much do you pay a month for that?
The iCloud?
Yeah.
I don't do.
I paid 99 cents for 50 gigs. I couldn't imagine how much a terabyte is.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. It just goes right to my credit card. I don't even look at it. I need to look at it though. That is not financially literate. So don't take that advice. But no, that's funny, man.
Yeah, but AI, you gotta adapt or die, man. But I think it's gonna get to a point, especially with like Elon's, was it Neuralink or
Neuralink?
Neuralink, yeah, where I think they just released models that are helping deaf people hear, and now they're going towards blind people seeing.
Yeah.
And
No, I
it's-
heard one of the first human subjects died, so I hadn't heard anything else.
Oh, really?
That was
How
the
long
guy
ago
who-
was that?
That was like 4 months ago. But we haven't heard anything else from Neuralink, or I haven't at least.
No, they said there's some trials going.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, because I mean, I was driving to Chicago with my mom a week ago, and she has Apple CarPlay in her car, and I asked her like, "Isn't that's kind of insane? Like, I've never seen that before." Until she got this car, and something she's never seen. She always had like a paper map, but she spoke into the car like, "Take me to this hotel in Chicago," and gave her directions. Didn't even have to touch the screen.
Yep.
And then it got me thinking, if she couldn't even imagine that when she was growing up,
What are we
what
gonna
are
see?
we gonna see? So then I started thinking, maybe it's like you just put your hand on the screen and all the information, the directions go straight to your brain, and you know like. And
You have like a little. Have you seen the Altered Carbon?
I have.
When
Yeah.
they put like the contacts in their eye and
Yeah.
they can see the
It's like
top of me.
Yeah. No. So what could it be? Like I thought of that. My mom couldn't even think of this. So
That
it could
was
be
that
something.
was over the past like 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
so
have how many years left? Well,
just imagine.
I pray like at least 60 or 70.
Yeah. No. But yeah, it could be anything. So.
I was reading this book actually. It was by I forgot who this is, this Chinese guy. But he was like a top physicist. I think it was back in like the 2000s. So it might be a little dated. But he went around and interviewed all the leading scientists about what the next 100 years would look like in 200 years. And it was a fascinating read because it was like Nanobots are going to be great. Like you can basically.
Oh, I saw that one. Yeah, I saw that.
The physics of tomorrow or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think the next stage for us is like interstellar travel.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think we have the technology yet.
No, but I think that's the thing with super intelligence with AI. It's expediting everything. Like they have like I was just looking at Google DeepMind, which is like the research arm of Google, has like a gene. I don't know if it's gene splicing, but I forgot what it's called. But it maps the entire genome like that because it's just these language models that are just reinforcing learning.
So we're gonna figure out how to cure diseases
Yeah.
by genetic engineering. I was listening to a podcast with a physicist, and he gave some predictions about the future.
Yeah.
And a couple of his were, we'll figure out how to cure all diseases. That was one.
Yeah.
Another one was all cars on the road will be electric, and if you wanted a diesel or gas powered, you'll have to go to a track. Just like we had horse and buggies back in the day, and then the automobile came. Now we watch horses race. It'll be the same as we'll watch diesel cars race.
That's actually funny.
So that's one of his predictions.
No, but that makes sense because there's one of
But I think that's cool because I love fast cars.
Yeah.
So seeing that still,
like the F1.
Yeah. No, you saw that.
I saw that in Monaco.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was bro.
I was jealous about that.
Yeah, it was. I was on that hairpin right in
Yeah.
front of the Fairmont Hotel.
Yeah.
It was pretty nice. Wow. Yeah, but I think to that point, like they're also gonna have like I think it was magnetic railways.
Yeah.
And I think that's what leads to what you were saying with the diesel are gonna be on cars, and that will once like most of the energy needed to drive cars for diesel is from friction because you need the friction in order to catch the tire on the road and spin and move. And so once they create something that magnetically can levitate,
Yeah.
there's like energy
But it's also the
be
engine
so
that
abundant.
propels the car, and we have an unlimited fuel source with the sun, solar power.
Yeah,
That
I
is
think
cool.
that's like as the solar power is coming in, you're gonna have the magnetic grid infrastructure being created, and then that way you have self-sustaining cars that you don't have to pay anything.
Yeah, and that could be a smart investment. Solar energy. That's still pretty new, I would say. I mean,
China's actually really ahead in the U.S. in all renewable energies, which is surprising. But that's mostly just because their government just prints money, just puts it into.
I think we should put more money into that. I think we
so.
could have a cleaner society that way.
Well, I think it's nuanced, very nuanced. Because like yes, it could, and it probably is beneficial, but also you have to consider the whole. You can't just look at the end product and say it's better for the environment. You have to look at the whole value chain.
Right, but then we go back to futurists, like people predicting the future.
Yeah.
So that's what I think it could be.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it could be. But yeah, I'm excited for what the future holds.
What does that mean for our viewers? Like, what does that mean for like an entrepreneur or someone trying to like live? I think that like, given where technology is headed, I think the white collar workforce is going to be taken over to some degree by AI.
Oh, yeah.
And so you need to either start learning the fundamentals, like learning how to make AI, how to like machine learning and all that sort of stuff to best position yourself, or go into manual labor or trade, which is, I mean,
Blue collar jobs there's a boom in blue collar jobs right now. I see everyone open up a lawn mowing business. There's roofing companies.
yeah, everybody's starting to fix and flip.
Out of nowhere, like I see them all over the road when I drive.
Yeah, because 60% growth in real wage for blue collar workers, which is crazy.
Yeah. No, that's.
So that's what I think, best position like in AI, and that's why I think the personalization aspect to entrepreneurship is going to become more and more apparent because there's going to be smaller and smaller teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I think and especially with like blockchain, it's going to start being more one-to-one.
Yeah.
And they actually have AIs coming out for supply chain.
Oh,
Imagine a massive like language model just handles all the supply chain.
Yeah, the whole manufacturing process. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah, it would be. That would revolutionize the industry.
But it's like, okay, how can you best position yourself? That's what I'm always thinking. Like it's like with Pat. It's like you have to start linking. I think the value of your life to some degree is in proportion to how far you think in the future. Not to go away from like enjoying the present, because I think you need to, but also like thinking for what do I need to do to be good in 5 years, in 10 years?
Yeah.
Where does my life
look
like?
Have a plan. You don't
Yeah.
have to have like a complete set plan, because Like it's never turn out as they are,
Yeah,
as they
yeah.
were originally planned. But have goals and know where you want to be.
Yeah.
And that's a good place to kind of wrap up here. Like, what do you think would be the best advice for a new entrepreneur getting into whatever niche they are? Like, what do you think is the best piece of advice for them?
I'd say just honestly, the thing that would help is go take a walk. Like, leave your phone and all that stuff, and go take a walk and think about what you actually want, and just start like just thinking. I think the best thing that you can do is start thinking for yourself, and then just start. That's the thing that's helped me, is just learning. Okay, like giving yourself time to think, you're automatically gonna start thinking about, okay, what can I do and all this sort of stuff. Me telling you what to think isn't gonna.
Having a clear space to clear your head.
Yeah, having a clear space. Yeah, and just to start.
Yeah. Okay, that's good advice. I would
How about
say
you?
just never really get discouraged, because there's gonna be some very deep valleys you find yourself in as an entrepreneur. You just can't get discouraged.
Yeah.
Because
What's
there's
the
a
deepest valley
plethora
that you've
of great ideas out there, but it's the ones that can push through those valleys that actually create that great company. Anyone can think of a good idea, but not everyone has the grit and the will to keep going.
Mhm.
So I think stay confident, give yourself grace. You're gonna fail, but in the end, just keep pushing, you'll make it. So that's my best piece of advice. But yeah, I think we can wrap it up here. So thank you for watching. We'll be back for episode 3. We'll be touching on health and wellness. But yeah, we'll see you then. Take care.
Hasta mañana.